You're welcome back. This is Business Nigeria. Let's get into our second conversation now. The Nigerian startup space is arguably the largest in Africa, making it the home to leading tech startups such as Andela, Flutterwave, Opay, Paystack, amongst others. The exponential impact of this sector to economic growth in terms of jobs creation and poverty alleviation gave birth to the concept of the Nigerian Startup Bill, a legislation aimed at providing an enabling environment for the establishment, development, and operations of startups in Nigeria. With Nigeria's vastly becoming a destination for tech talents, industry players are of the view that government must recognize tech as a cross-cutting sector that can grow the economy and drastically reduce unemployment and develop an economy-wide strategy that supports its economic growth. Well, joining me now virtually from Sheffield in the United Kingdom is a business intelligence consultant and entrepreneur, Mr. Edwin Tefia, to help make sense of all of this. Well, Edwin, thank you so much for agreeing to speak with us here on Business Nigeria. Well, congratulations to you. And in the UK, you do have a new prime minister, but that's not our focus. Let's stay with issues around startups here in Nigeria. So we are the largest. Nigerian space perhaps is the largest, or arguably the largest startup space in the continent here. Of course, there are big things we are doing here as a country. But I wonder just what your readings are about startups here in Nigeria this time.
Having me again. And thanks for the congratulatory message with regards to our new Prime Minister. Just to go straight to the subject for the day, what's my take with regards to Nigerian startups? I think, like you rightfully said, that Nigeria itself is actually one of the biggest tech eco space that you would find across Africa. And that has actually attracted a lot of investors, across the world, or foreign investors to actually come here and invest, in our talent. And I think it's a space that will continue to grow, and with much attention that is being paid and much attention that is being placed on Nigeria at the moment, you will see other investors from other countries coming in to invest in Nigeria, and this is actually really good for Nigeria itself as a country. And it would encourage a lot of young people to actually, jump into the space and develop. And it's a matter of time. We see Nigeria will also be competing, across the world itself.
All right, we'll discuss issues around legislation on the Startup Bill, which is also very much in the news. But I was just looking at something here, reports by the Salient Adversary that show that the country was the biggest hub of innovation among focus countries, with 58% of innovators active as compared to countries such as Kenya, Ghana, and Uganda. But when you look at the country, I mean, because in my conversation with you a few days ago or thereabout, you have two startup companies here in the country, and you have another one or two in the United Kingdom. But walk us through or paint a picture of how your startups are performing here.
My startups in Nigeria are doing well. It could have done much better because my own companies are not actually immune to the challenges that Nigerian startups actually really face. I've got two startups in Nigeria. One of them is actually in the agro sector. I've actually established a commercial farm, which has been striving right from 2020, and we're doing really, really well. And also, because I'm also someone that is actually involved in the tech sector as well, we also have a data analytical business as well that is really, really doing well as well. But notwithstanding, just like every other startups in Nigeria as well, there are many challenges, that we have faced as well as a startup. and it takes a lot, for a business to be established in Nigeria and to continue to sustain, the objective of the business itself. So I think with time, as we continue to learn the ecosystem within Nigeria, I think we have continued to strive over the years.
Yes, Mr. Itefia, you may need to walk us through some of these challenges. We have to be as practical as possible. Walk us through the challenges of having these startups here in the country, and perhaps you may also want to do a comparison, direct comparison with what it is like running the startups in the United Kingdom where you are.
Wow. If I I'll just pick a few of them. In terms of having an enabling environment and an infrastructure for new startups. In the UK here, it will take me less than 10 minutes, and with just 16,000 naira in comparison. I mean, 16,000 naira to start up to register a business. But in Nigeria, the lawyer that I paid, it cost about 120,000 naira, and it took about a month, for that registration to actually come through. So it tells you, even just at the inception of actually registering the business itself, there's so much challenges out there. If you want to look at funding, within the UK, there are so many funding out there. The government is actually pouring in funds to actually help new startups, and not just from the beginning, even throughout the duration of the business. The government gives you funds out there, and when it comes to the duration of when you have to pay off this particular loan, it goes about 5 years. So that helps new startups to be able to establish themselves. In comparison to Nigeria, when I started up my farm as well back in Nigeria, I actually went to NASA, which is actually one of the agencies that the government has put aside to provide loans for agri startups. Up to today, my application is still there. Nothing has happened to it. And I'm just one of so many startups out there, who are finding it very, very hard, to be able to start up from inception and establish a business itself. So if you look at infrastructure, if you are actually in the tech sector, in terms of internet as well, it's a huge challenge. You come down to government policies. Wow, you can't even start, talking about the policies that are there that hinder, new startups, lack of power. It's huge. I mean, every startups in Nigeria have become their own utility company as a business itself. So you're buying generator, you're paying for gas, to run the generator. It's practically impossible if you don't have the funds to be able to start a business. But in comparison here to what the business I've started in the UK, one of the first business that I didn't have any money, but the ideas were there. I was able to put that together in terms of putting together a good business plan. And all it takes is a good business plan. And the banks are there. There are several institutions who are there to help you with these funds. If I was in Nigeria, no matter how good my business plans are, no matter how good that knowledge is, I wouldn't have gone anywhere. So when you look at the comparison, you can't even start to compare. There's a lot of talent in Nigeria that have died, because they didn't have the right infrastructure, access to loan is not there, the enabling environment, the policies in there, and I can just go on and name them, one after the other. So being a startup in Nigeria is a very, very challenging, environment for you to be in. Notwithstanding, some startups have been able to navigate through these challenges and be able to get funding, maybe funding. And most of the fundings that have come in, to this new startup, they're actually foreign investors who have come in to invest in these new startups. And you can imagine, the federal government is there, the Nigerian state governments are there, and they are not actually taking advantage of what's happening. within this particular sector and assist and look for a way to push in through. So if I want to continue to give you several answers and examples
Yes.
about, we'll go on the whole day,
All
and
right.
just keep
So,
talking.
and we have to begin to wind down on our conversation, but we cannot go without discussing the Nigerian Startup Bill, which has been commended across board. There are many sides to it. Amongst other things is the fact that the bill recommends tax holidays for up to 4 years for startups, incentives to attract investors, establishment of tech parks across the country. Amongst others, the recommendations in this bill are enormous. It's been signed, but has not been given assent yet by Mr. President. But I wanted to walk us through what your thoughts are exactly about this particular bill and just how essential it is.
I mean, that bill, it is a very, very, very good piece of bill itself. I mean, if it is rightly implemented, I think it will go a long way to really, really help, the new startups in Nigeria, and not just startups in Nigeria. It will also help to bring life into the Nigerian economies itself. You would hear the saying that goes that businesses are actually the engine room of an economy. But the bill itself is there. I don't know why Mr. President have not actually signed it. From what I understand, the bill was actually co-authored by both the tech sector. You have the regulators and the presidency who have actually come in, to put up the bills together. And I'm grateful for the bill being available. I'm grateful for those in the legislative sector who didn't actually hold the bill down. They've gone, it has passed through all the regions it has to pass through, and it has actually passed through the parliament, or the legislative section here. But I just believe that, I was thinking it would be something that Mr. President would just put his hand and sign within 2 days, because this is his bill. He knows everything about this particular bill itself. But apart from that, I know he's going to sign it, and at the same time, I'm still grateful because I know it's going to help a lot of business startups out there. My major concern, about the bill, just like every other bill and laws there in Nigeria, is actually the implementation of the bill itself. So that's where my major worry would be. But if it is rightfully implemented, I think Nigeria will be an environment where the world will take a look and say, wow, that the world will begin to take recognition of what's happening in Nigeria, because we've got the talent. There's a lot of talent there in Nigeria as well. All they actually need an enabling environment, infrastructure, access to loan, and any resource that the government will actually put in to help this need. So I think it's a good bill. For my own take, it's really, really good, because if you look at most of the things that I've mentioned earlier on that are pretty much the challenges, with new startup, that bill actually address a lot of that. So if it is rightfully implemented, I think it's going to be a very, very good law. For now, it's still a bill until the president actually signs it.
Well, Mr. Edwin Etefa, we hope that indeed this bill gets to see the light of day, as of course, as you've mentioned, the positives and merits of this bill cannot be overemphasized. I mean, we hope that Mr. President will give his assent to this bill in the coming days or even weeks, just before he leaves office, so that we can set the pace for that particular sector to grow as fast as possible. But I'd like to thank you most kindly for speaking with us here on Business Nigeria, Mr. Edwin Etefa, entrepreneur. It's also a business intelligence consultant from Sheffield in the United Kingdom.
Thank you.